All right, guys, today we're going to look at 3 ways to attack from the mount. We're going to get right into it. We need to know the Americana, the arm bar, and a cross collar choke, and how when somebody defends one of these, it goes right to the next one. So let's get right to it. Let's go to mount. I'm going to have Matt's head kind of facing towards this wall. Yeah, just so we can talk about how, if I'm here, first of all, my hips are over his hips, and if I'm in mount, let's move back a little bit, Matt, just to make sure we're on camera. My hips over his hips, my shoulders over his shoulders, my arms here. If I get too high up, he can knock me over. If I sit up like this, my base is just on my hips. So really a good mount position is here. And what I want to think about is maintaining that position instead of going for a submission and losing it. So the position is far more important to stay in. I attack something he might defend. Maybe I go for it a second or third time, but I want to stay in mount. So if I'm here like this, look where his hands are. They're in between our chest, and that's where they should be. He might be fighting for a hip. He might be trying to work his elbows in, etc. Okay? So when we're here, every time I feel the arms here, this is a good start to the Americana, okay? Sometimes called the key lock. So what I can do is keep that weight here. I like to start by putting one arm here, and then I lift my weight up and find the wrist, okay? What I'm gonna do is put the wrist here, and when I look at it, and this is a really cool detail, the wrist to the shoulder to the spot on the floor should be a straight line. So what I'm not doing is putting it way out here, and I'm not trying to put it by his head. When I get here, 2 hands on the wrist, shoulder, that's the spot I'm driving down for. I'm going to get straight arms, put my body weight in that line, and roll the wrist forward as I push down. Okay? Once I'm here, I have a lot of weight on his wrist, but his head and shoulders can move, and I need to stop that. I'm going to drop my elbow right to his head, and I pull in a little bit tight. Also, I get my chest low, because he's going to bump around a little bit, okay? So we're going to look at the Americana, then we'll talk about how he defends it. From here, this is the battle. If he bumps around, and I need a post, I come back. If I start losing it and he brings his arms back in, I come back low. Get my hand, come up, roll, and push. Elbow right down, everything in tight. I even like to keep my forearm on his elbow. I don't just want to be on the wrist, I want to be tight here. So if Matt bumps around a little bit, look, I can base, I can move, good. When he comes down, my hand is going to come here, and I don't want to come palm up. I want to go palm down, underneath, and find my own wrist. So the easy way to remember this, it's not his time, like I'm covering up his watch. It's my time. Not his watch, it's my watch. When I'm here, don't be loose. As I'm here, my elbow, everything is pulling and tight to his shoulder. Now, sometimes you might finish it here. But really what I want to do is get his elbow as close to his hips as possible. But my knee is in the way. So I'm going to drop my knee a little bit, pull everything down. Now, I haven't even started. Look how slow I go. And there Matt taps. So when I move the elbow down, I don't have to lift very much. I keep the wrist on the mat and just a little torque. So go slow with this, especially with people with poor shoulder mobility. If you crank, it may break long before they tap. So let's start here and we'll show a few angles. So I'm here like this, he starts pushing a little bit, I catch here. The reason I do this is if I sit up and then try to go for it, now he knows where I'm going. I want to get a head start. So I'm like this, he starts pushing just a little bit. 1, 2, don't keep my arms bent. Straight, push down, and immediately drop the elbow. Be heavy, heavy, heavy. He's going to bump around. I ride the ride. I come underneath. I grabbed his wrist, now my wrist, everything in tight. Move my knee a little bit, pull down, and finish. Okay, so let's turn this way and just show this one more time, and then we'll show how to defend. So again, same idea here. He might bump from side to side here. Look how he's pushing, then I feel it. 1, 2, I'm here, I push, and get heavy. I come underneath when it's time, pull everything in tight, move my knee, bring this low, and finish. So when I get to this spot, a lot of times from here, whether I'm on top or the bottom, his goal is to probably reach through with that other hand and start grabbing his own hand. He's trying to stop here somehow, okay? So what I'm looking at next is the armbar. When I see this, this is my setup here, coming right in here for the armbar. So let's back out a little bit, look at the armbar by itself, and then we'll connect the two. So if I want to go for an arm, often we learn cross elbow, getting a sleeve, chest, or something of this nature. But today what I'm going to look at is when I come here, when I grip this, my weight's on this side. But that's okay. If he's defending the Americana, I'm just hooking. Keep that like he's grabbing his own arm here. When I'm hooking, I'm elbow to elbow. I'm going to bring up this knee to the top of his head here. And as I'm here, look how I'm behind his elbow already. And this hand here, a lot of times I can push here as I'm setting myself up. But look, I'm behind the elbow. My next job is to get this foot under the forearm. So now I'm going to transition and pull everything in tight. So what I like about this, I can pull the elbows tight together. It stops a lot of his defenses. I can lean forward, or as I'm pulling on him, that's enough to anchor myself to bring my foot here. Now I must lean towards his belt. As I'm here, my foot comes over. So I haven't sat back yet. Now I can make sure I have the arm I want as I sit through here and finish the arm bar. Okay? Let's turn back to our original angle if we could, Matt. So if we do this side, there's a lot of ways. Again, I might do the arm bar, look, I get a cross elbow. But we're not doing that here. What I want to think about is he's reaching this way and I see here. So a lot of times if I'm low or I was going for this Americana, I don't want to put this hand here and scoop. I want to do the opposite. My far hand here, and look, I turn. As I'm here, I'm behind the elbow, and I'm pulling. Sets up my other hand to pull to me, bring my foot up, and now I'm in the S mount. You can see my arm has already got his arm bar. Try to grip up your hands. It's hard because I'm pulling the elbows together. If I leave space, now I have to undo this later. So when I'm starting here, I pull the elbows together, bring my foot up and lean. Now, as I sit, I'm here. Look how the arm's already where I need it to be. Boom, arm bar. Okay, so let's connect the two now. I'm going to start for the Americana, and then look how he defends this. This S-mount arm bar is a little different than usual, so it's kind of cool how they connect. I'm here, he starts pushing a little bit. 1, 2, as I go, boom, I feel his arm come in. He starts defending the Americana, good. Right away I wrap, come up here, pull, tight, switch, and now I'm already into the arm bar. Okay, so just something to play around with is that if I try to go to the Americana and he defends, I go here, he defends, I go like this. He comes back. I go again, he defends, and we come back. And then you're like, well, I guess the Americana doesn't work. Or, he's too good, I can't do it. No, what you have to recognize is I'm doing one move and he's defending one move. I want to keep moving ahead of him, okay? If I go here and he defends, this is my opportunity right here. So now I'm using my weight on his wrist as I turn to start up my S mount to get here. And now I'm already set up to finish the arm bar. If he doesn't defend the Americana, then I finish the Americana. But when he defends the Americana, I progress to the next attack. So that brings us to our third and final one. It's going to be the cross choke, okay? So the cross choke, cross collar choke, if I'm right-handed, this tends to be where I attack from, I want to bring my hand deep down here, almost like I'm punching the mat. So when I get here, I open up a little bit, drive in, shake this out and get it tight. Okay, there's two ways to do it. But here's the cool thing. When we come back here, I start going for the Americana and he does not let my hand go out. He keeps it tight. I start pushing. I can't get this Americana. I'm trying to roll. I'm doing all the right techniques. I keep my cross hand on his wrist. Look, I'm going to open up this here and lift and slide underneath. So now he was defending putting the arm out, which actually opens up a little bit of space for the cross collar choke. Now, when I start going, let's try this a little bit. If I'm here and I stay like this, I don't have a post. So as soon as I get my hand down, look how I'm leaning this way, and I'm going to use my forearm, not on the neck. It doesn't affect his head. I'm going to put it across his jaw and be a little bit of a jerk here. I'm going to be heavy like this. If he can turn his head to me, he can probably bridge either way. But I want that. I want to push it so he can only look that way. Go ahead and bridge that way. And look, it's hard. My weight's on him. So now the hands are definitely going to be trying to deal with this, and he knows what's coming. If I try to reach for the second hand or come in here, he can defend. So I'm going to do a big wave. And the wave, I want to get as low as I can and keep my whole forearm on the mat. Now I bring my weight to the other side and I block. From here, it's already tight. I might tap him out here, might not. But I'm going to get low. Now I'm going to cheese grate. By cheese grate, I mean the fabric here. I'm going to cheese grate, like slice across Matt's neck. So I come here, I'm low. Elbow on the mat, I cheese grate. Find some fabric right here. Head comes down, and I finish. So this is one way to do the mount, the cross collar choke for mount that I really, really like. So I'm here, and he's just not letting me get this. I open up, so keep arms tight, keep arms tight. Look, I use this, makes space to come in. And then I'm heavy. Look how I'm heavy. I ride this the wave, because he's going to bump. You go for real, like bump. Yeah, look. And I'm here. Maybe I lose and come back here. That's okay. Keep the position. I drop down, I'm heavy, heavy, heavy here. This is phase one. When he calms down for a second, big wave, elbow in, phase two. Pinch your knees. This is going to be uncomfortable. They're going to bump. When he calms down a bit, I go for phase three. I find this. Make sure I put my head to the mat. If he bridges, I'm going to take a face plant. So as soon as I start grading, I'm right down. I pull and finish. So let's do all three of those real quick. Good mount positioning. Knees in tight. hips over hips, shoulders over shoulders, arm wide. He starts pushing a little bit. Boom, I catch. We're going to hit the Americana. Come down, elbow tight, get low. Come underneath, everything here. Pull a little tighter, open my knee down, and finish. But when I got here, he starts defending. He reaches through. Catch. Use the weight on my left hand so I can slide to S-mount. Pull everything tight here. Now I step over and finish my arm bar. If I come back and I'm trying to go for this Americana, I come here, he starts defending, and I get this, and he pulls everything in. I open up and slide in for the cross collar. Now I come heavy. When I'm ready, big wave, I come here and finish. Let's do one last bonus thing. So the last thing is, right, maybe I'm trying all three of these. I can't get the Americana, I can't get to the collar, I can't get the arm bar. What I want to think about is the elbows. I want his elbows even, or even better, above his shoulders. So if I'm heavy here and he keeps his elbows tight, it's very hard to dig in, and a lot of his escapes come from getting inside my hips. So what I'll do here is I'll lift his head a little bit and come palm up as far in as I can and push his shoulder. Keep that tight. So he'll keep the elbow tight, but look what happens. I'll turn a little bit. Now I catch and I can pull up. Once I'm here, he's not going to want to let this go much higher. I bring my knee behind it and I switch. So I'm hugging the other side. We'll turn a little bit. As I get here, I switch my hand and get heavy. Okay? He's going to keep this in tight. He knows I'm going to the second one. As I get heavy, I pull and hook the second one. Now I'm going to go to a high mount. Important tip, I can either hug his head or put my hands like a chalk, like chalking a tire behind his head. But I can't let his head come up. I'm going to scoop myself up tight and walk up here. So he's going to want to bring these down. Key detail, knees even with his ears. If I'm here, he'll bring his elbows down and he'll walk himself up, right? Yeah. So if I get here like this, tight, go ahead and move, hard. His second line of defense is his feet. If I'm sitting up here like this, he's going to catch me with those feet. So stay down, keep the elbows in tight. I'm pinching my knees. Uncomfortable, Matt, yeah?
Yep.
Yep. So now I want to pull everything in tight. And where this cool arm bar comes from is like the shoestrings on your sneakers. I am going to look at pulling this across, and this elbow I'm going to use on his other arm as a fulcrum. Okay? If I can't get him, I'm just going to literally tighten my shoestrings, and then I pull here, and he taps. If I can't finish this and he's keeping them tight, I can twist, or at the worst, I get tight here and I pinch the tap. Okay? Very uncomfortable position to be from that bottom with your arms above your shoulders. So anyways, bonus tip there. I want you to just think about going for the Americana when they defend. Sets up the S-mount armbar. If I can't get that sometimes, or the arms are too tight, it sets up a cross-collar choke. If I can't do any of that, improve my position. Go up to this high mount, and then slow down, take your time as you pick apart that submission. Try it out. Hope it works.